Hi, friends. Good to see you again. Pastor Matthew here with my friend Dake, and we're telling you Bible stories during these times of social distancing and not being able to do as much as we'd like to be able to do. So we're just going to enjoy some story time together to help pass the time. We talked about last time about the snake and the lie and how God loves us no matter what. And here's a new story about how God started over and everything started all over because of God's love. And there'll be a special surprise at the end of something we all love to see, and we'll talk about it.
What is it?
It's a surprise.
Oh, tell me.
I'm not going to tell you.
Uh,
Okay, so we're going to talk about the story of Noah. It's the new beginning. So, some time passed, and many people, a lot of people, filled the earth. Everyone everywhere had forgotten about God and were only doing bad things all the time. God's heart was filled with pain when he saw what had happened to the world that he loved. Everywhere was disease and death and destruction and the things God just does not like at all. Now, Noah was God's friend, which was odd in those days because no one else was. Noah listened to God and he did what God asked him to do. He just loved being with God, like you do hanging out with your best friend. Noah, God said, things have gone wrong. People have filled my world with hate instead of love. They're destroying themselves and each other and my world. I must stop them. First, we'll build an ark. Do you know how to build an ark? That's okay. Neither did Noah. God had to show him how to do it. So, God said, a storm is coming. But I will rescue you, I promise. I will send the animals to you, ones that creep and crawl and slither and slime and gallop and hop and bounce and climb and bound. And don't forget to pack everyone's food so everyone has enough to eat.
yeah, 'cause the lions eat everybody.
Because the lions would eat everybody? Well, that's true. So the storm was going to wash away all of the hate and all the sadness and everything that had gone wrong and make the world clean again. And so God thought up a way to keep Noah safe. But Noah would have to trust God and do exactly what God told him to do. So Noah built an ark, which is basically a really big boat.
Big old boat.
Big old boat. So Noah built an ark, and Noah's neighbors came to watch. They laughed at him.
Why?
They laughed at him because he lived in the desert, and he was building an ark that was like way bigger than his house in his front yard. So they laughed.
Crazy.
I know. Because they didn't believe Noah when he said that the big flood was coming. His boat was in the desert and there was no water around anywhere. Why would anyone need an umbrella, let alone a big old boat? But Noah did not mind so much what other people thought. He only cared about what God thought. So he just did what God told him to do. Now when the ark was ready, God said, all aboard.
Does it choo-choo train?
No, it wasn't a choo-choo train. I was just trying out a silly voice.
You shouldn't do silly voices.
Why shouldn't I do silly voices?
You're not good at them.
I'm not good at them. What do you mean?
Just keep going.
Keep going. I'm not good at silly voices? Really? I always thought I was kind of good at silly voices. No? All right. So Noah just did what God said to do. So when the ark was ready, God said, all aboard. Okay. And Noah's family and all the animals climbed inside. Then God shut the door.
Shut the door?
Yep, he shut the door. And it started raining for minutes that joined up into hours, that joined up into days, joined up into weeks, and then more weeks. And then rain joined up into puddles that joined into rivers, that joined into lakes, that joined up into a flood that crowded the whole world. And it flooded and covered the whole world. The boat that had seemed so big suddenly seemed very small, but in the middle of the huge storm and the crashing waves and all the thunder and lightning, through it all, God was with them. And God kept them safe for 40 days and 40 nights. Finally, the rain stopped. The sun came out, and Noah threw open the windows. Hooray! Everyone shouted. Noah sent his dove out to explore, and it wasn't long before she brought back a fresh olive leaf. Everyone knew exactly what that meant.
What'd that mean?
What did it mean? It meant that there were leaves from trees, from olive trees, that were up above the water. So the dove was able to rest on a branch and bring a leaf back.
Okay.
The water was going down. So at last, the boat landed quite suddenly on top of a great mountain. As soon as it was safe, God said, "Out you come." And so they did. Everyone skipping and dancing onto dry land. The first thing Noah did was to thank God for rescuing them just as God had promised. And the first thing God did was make another promise. "I won't ever destroy the world again." And like a warrior who puts away his bow and arrow at the end of a great battle, God said, "See, I've hung up my bow in the clouds." And you've seen it.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have. What happens after a really big thunderstorm and the clouds in the sky get really dark, and then after it passes through and the sun starts shining, what's up and it's really colorful? You guys know what it's called? That's right, rainbow. A rainbow. That's God's bow, God's weapon to flood the earth. He hung it up in the sky so we'd know that he's not going to make it rain forever again.
Okay. I never knew that.
Oh, well, now you do. And there in the clouds, just where the storm meets the sun, was a beautiful bow made of light. It was a new beginning for God's world. It wasn't long before everything went wrong again, though, but God wasn't surprised. God knew it would happen. That's why, before the beginning of time, he had another plan, a better plan, a plan not to destroy the world, but to rescue it, a plan to one day send his own son, the rescuer. God's strong anger against hate and sadness would come down once more, but not on his people or his world. No, God's war bow was not pointing down at his people. It was pointing up to the heart of heaven. Okay. Well, that was a great story. And the next time you see a rainbow, just remember that God loves you very, very much. All right. Thanks for helping me today.
You're welcome.
All right. Hey, everybody. I love you bunches and gobs.
Oodles and doodles.
See you later. Bye.